Hey, what's up guys? I recently made a video about why I'm still single after 3.5 years in the Philippines. Let's call this a bit of a continuation to that video. I'm going to share a little bit more of my thoughts on that and some personal experiences. But first I want to tell you about a comment that I just received on a video that I made from a guy that made me laugh when I read it. And I'm just thinking, oh my God, dude, I know exactly what you're experiencing, because it's something that I just experienced again recently with a Filipina that I had met a couple months ago, started dating, and I ran into the same thing that this guy mentioned. So in a nutshell, what he said was that he's basically thinking of throwing in the towel because every Filipina that he meets, that he starts to date, within a short amount of time, they're telling him they love him. He's feeling this sense of like urgency or commitment or trying to lock things in right away. But the most important thing that he mentioned is it's all happening before really knowing each other. Like no effort to know each other, no questions, no connection in a natural way. It's just the idea of someone, loving the idea of someone, loving the idea of love. This is how I see it too. I made a video like 2.5 years ago that blew up on my channel, and it became one of those 50-50 split videos on how people saw the story, where I went out into the province to meet a Filipina that I had met 5 days before online, chatted with her, we were getting along, and I said, you know what, how about I just drive out there and we'll meet in person and get to know each other. And that was the plan. Told the story, I went out there, I showed up, she was right there, and it was on, like latched onto me. All the shop owners in the market that we walked past were expecting me. They're all tapping her on the shoulder, you did it, you did it. And I'm thinking, what's going on? Why does everyone know about this? Then we get to the area where all the family was waiting for us, little kids and grandparents, and everyone was there. The foreigner arrived, or at least this is how I took it, right? And it was all these unnatural feelings. Family members leaning in, I'm so excited for you. One of them leans in and says, do you love her? Do you love her? I'm like, I just met her 10 minutes ago. And we met online 5 days ago and chatting. And to fast forward, after a few hours of hanging out, her and I were chatting, and she starts telling me how much she loves me and she's excited for our future. And then basically when I said, let's slow this down, what's going on here? I'm just here to meet you and sort of get to know each other. It turned into anger. It turned into, I guess, feeling rejected, but anger, and saying, well, I have another guy that I'm chatting with, and I'll just go and meet him then if you're not serious about me. I don't have time for this. I want someone who's serious. And it blew up. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess you're making my case for me. It's like a fast track from meeting to literally, I love you, and I could have married her that day. She would have probably said, yeah, let's do it. Let's sign up. Let's get married. And I want to make this point too. This is not someone that I had even an ounce of feeling that she was wanting money from me at all. So there is, outside of navigating past the gold diggers, the scammers, that's obviously the first big thing, and everyone talks about that. But then you run into these other things, guys. The love bombing, the quick to attach, the fast track to seriousness, serious expectations. There's an insecurity element built into that. That's the downside to it. It's not even the words, I love you. It's just the whole thinking behind it and the energy around it. But here's the thing, this 50-50 split that I was talking about, I'm telling you, half the people were ripping on me for how I handled that, for the fact that I didn't just go with that. They were like, what are you doing? You're an idiot. I would love to be in that situation. I would absolutely love it. Or that's Filipino culture. That's normal. That she was committing to you. She was loving you, and yada, yada, right? Forgot to mention another big comment that kept coming up for that video was, why would you go to meet her in person if you didn't already know that you were ready to commit to her? That is leading her on. Think about that. Commit before meeting. Huh? Back to the video. So there was a lot of like hate towards how I approached it and the story, negative feedback on that, and how what I did was totally wrong. And then the other half was like, man, run for the hills, you dodged a bullet, that shit ain't natural, that's gonna lead to big time trouble. And that's how I see it, right? And this guy that left the comment on my video, that's what he's describing. He's like, I'm ready to throw in the towel. Like, no one wants to actually get to know me. It's just like, the hell, what's going on here? Even if it's not about money. And I know some of you will say, oh, it's the money, it's the money. No, there's something different here, guys, when it comes to fantasizing relationships and love and a need for someone, having this desire to be with someone, to be with a foreigner. I'm not going to say it has nothing to do with stability or anything like that, but this is different than the many women that are really focused on that, focused on the finances and getting help. This girl that I met recently, guys, on New Year's Eve, this is my latest example of when it happened to me, this kind of love bomb type of thing. We met, boots on the ground, right? Me and a buddy hanging out New Year's Eve. We run into her and her friend. I went up to them, or we both did. I started talking, and her and I kind of hit it off. We were having good conversation, you know, chatting. We ended up all hanging out together for a couple of hours, fireworks, and all of that. First of all, I want to say, great girl, super nice. Yeah, I don't have any complaints other than this. We ended up going on a date 1 week later. She took a day off work. She worked all the time. Man, she even offered to pay for gas, right? Like when I went to get gas in my motorbike, she offered to pay. I didn't get any feeling like she's just non-genuine and just wants my money and all that stuff. Like zero. But what I did realize was after a day of hanging out, there wasn't any getting to know me. There wasn't any questions. At the end of the day, she didn't know really anything about me. We just hung out, took photos, enjoyed all the nature and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, messaging, I love you, talking about a future together. Even the topic of kids came up, right? Right after one day together, one first date. And then of course I'm like, oh shit, damn, seriously? Like I was hoping that it would just flow a little bit more naturally at a little bit more realistic pace. And then of course I'm thinking of that last instance where I made that video and the negative feedback. I'm like, okay, don't freak out. But I basically just politely said, you know, I'm not ready for that kind of commitment and talk. It makes a lot more sense to get to know each other a little bit more. We ended up continuing chatting, went on another date at another point, but that sort of mindset and all of that continued on. And what happened was, it's not just the words, I love you, it was the pressure and the expectations and this insecure element of it, like expecting you to be a certain way and act a certain way. And all the conversations were all around that and the relationship and what's happening and feeling like, do you love me and all that stuff, rather than natural vibing, hanging out, just getting to know each other. Like phase one, right, of just bonding with someone didn't exist. It just fast-tracked to the seriousness. And I'm thinking, in so many ways, she's great. She's attractive, she's sweet, and not a gold digger. I truly don't think that's down on the list, right? Yeah, sure, security, but it's more security for like love and commitment and someone being there for her and checking in on her and all of that. And so good intentions, but unrealistic and an unhealthy approach. It was like the opposite of a peaceful environment or bringing peace to a relationship. It was just intense and stressful, and you're saying the wrong things and you're not talking about fun things. It's like heavy things, and it's right away, guys. So yeah, it's a turnoff, and it's also, for me, a real clear indicator of where things are going and how much trouble can come from a relationship like that. Well, when she met a few of my friends, and she's very pleasant and sweet. And so from a Filipino perspective, and a Filipina that assumed, everything was good, and I was explaining my thinking on this, it's like over her head, like doesn't understand it. Well, yeah, of course, it's Filipinas, they fall in love, they want to get married, all that stuff. And I'm like, she just doesn't get it. She doesn't get why I see it. I see that as not really healthy. And so I guess there's just a split in this. And I want to know your thought on that. Where are you? What side of the line are you guys on? Like, is this something that you run from the hills from, or do you roll with it and just love that and just play along and it feels good because there's talk of love and being together? And is that thinking properly? Is that something that you feel can be figured out down the road? I don't know. For me, for the guy that commented, for a lot of other people that I know, don't want that. I always say it seems to be the land of extremes. You have the extreme, let's just put away like the gold diggers. Let's just say, okay, yeah, there is that here. They maybe really only want you for your money. Okay, put that aside. There's also tons of women that is not their top top things on their priority list. There's plenty of good girls here, but then there's other things, other barriers. One of them is the love bombing, quick attachment, urgency. On the other side of that, which is another barrier, is the overcautious Filipina. Filipina that is really hesitant, really hesitant, is so committed to what they have going on in their life, their job, their responsibility, helping their family. They might be open one day to being with a foreigner, but they have a big, thick wall around them. I like that there's a level of caution, and I always speak to that, but I'm telling you, that creates a huge challenge as well, because it's hard to even get to know them. There's a hesitation to meet and spend time together. It's just another barrier here, guys, that you'll run into. But let me end this on a positive note, guys, because at the end of the day, I still live here. I love living here. And if I think about going back to where I came from and comparing the dating challenges here to the dating challenges there, it's still way better here. It's way better here. And another thing too is I'm just one type of guy. There are plenty of guys that don't think the way I do, that would probably have married maybe one of the girls that I met. Maybe this girl that I met recently, someone else would be in that same situation and be like, I don't care, let's get married. And they'll just go with it, right? So to each their own, and that could be a positive thing for you, because you might not care, you might see this totally differently. And for guys that are similar to me, well, where else is there a better place where you can at least have some interesting things happening, some possibilities that can come up where you can see where things go. And if things don't work out, it's not hard to just turn the page and you're back on track, chatting with someone else and maybe seeing where that goes. And that alone, just having opportunities, keeps things interesting, and it keeps you feeling hopeful or positive or happy that something at some point will come around that feels right, that just feels like the right balance of things. And if you're not desperate and you're not urgent, then you just roll with it and you just go with the flow and you embrace your life the way it is. And if you're single, cool. If you're dating someone, awesome. That's how I look at it. I mean, would I like to meet someone today that feels different, that feels good, and then we go to day 2 and it still feels good, and then you stack weeks and months together and it leads to the ideal relationship? Of course. Yeah, for sure. And I'll tell you this too, guys. I've met women here that feel to me like the type of woman that I would want to go for it with. Let me just say that. But you meet women that are in relationships that they're not available, but you respect them and you get to know them and their personality and the type of person that they are. And you're like, man, if I met someone like that, I would feel differently. I would feel great. So it comes down to timing and luck and when the opportunity presents itself. But if you've met women like I have that just weren't either available, or you might meet someone, I have certainly, that seem to be the type that you might like, they might not be interested in you. They might have that wall that I was talking about and just never let the wall come down. Sometimes it's not you, it's just they're not interested or they're not ready or whatever. So that can happen too. But it reminds you though that there are just good women here that you do feel like could be a perfect match for you. And why would you settle if you know for sure there are women that check the right boxes for you, and then you just want to wait until that person comes around where the stars align and you're both interested and it just works out? For me, that makes way more sense. Actually, last thing to throw out there that goes along with this, I was out for dinner with my buddy last night. The staff there are fantastic, and one of the women there that works there, we both have this like joke crush on her. I mean, she's got a boyfriend and she's actually taking off overseas for work, but we joke about just how cool she is and how genuine she feels, how sweet she is, how, you know, good the conversation is when we chat with her. Like, there's not a single thing that pops up that seems off or odd or red flaggy. Just mature and cool, big smile, like all that stuff, right? We've all met women that just kind of do it for us, and you just think, oh man, that's my type. I mean, she's not available and that's okay, but it reminds you that it's okay to just keep rolling along until someone comes around where, boom, someone like that pops into your life and there's just this mutual interest and connection, and it feels right and it feels good. It doesn't feel forced just because, you know, you want to be in a relationship. That's how I roll, guys. How do you guys roll? Let me know in the comments section. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. More videos to come. Bye-bye.